welcome to another edition of ATL Prime Sports. I'm JJ Jurjevich. Joining me this evening is the one, the only Wayne Ridenauer in beautiful Memphis, Tennessee. You can find us all at ATL Prime Sports on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and of course, Apple and Spotify. At JJ Get You One, my personal Twitter, at RWY Jr. for Wayne's personal Twitter, and at Corder Todd for TC Todd Corder, who is out tonight recovering from a small surgery. We wish him well. Wayne, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing really good. I kind of wish that Texas would have done better against Houston, but we've got Detroit coming up, and I'm feeling really good about that, especially given the way Detroit played today.
Awesome. I'm doing great as well. Not as good as Pittsburgh Steelers safety Minkah Fitzpatrick. He signed an extension that makes him the highest paid safety in NFL history, a 4-year extension worth $18.4 million per year, plus a sweet little $36 million signing bonus. What's on tap today? We have Fred Gerteiny from WTNH, the sports producer there, and WTNH 8. We are talking about the Braves' historic streak, and that's about it for today's show. So without further ado, let's bring in our guest. We welcome Fred Gerteiny, producer for WTNH. Fred, welcome back, and how you doing tonight?
JJ and Wayne, how you guys doing? So happy to be back with you guys.
All right.
Well, we're glad to have you on. Look, we got to start out with the Mets. It's a New York baseball season so far. New York is on top of the Major League Baseball right now. What are the chances, in your opinion, that we see another Subway Series like we did in 2000?
Well, I think we got a great shot right now. You know, the Mets and the Yankees, best records in all of baseball. Both teams, the first to hit 40 wins this baseball season. And I'll tell you, everything is clicking for these guys. I think right now, I think the Yankees are a slightly better team. I think they're deeper. I think they have a better lineup. They're starting pitching, and their bullpen is lights out. And I think the Mets, if they get Scherzer and DeGrom back healthy 100%, then look out. Then I think it's a pretty even race between these two teams. But right now, I think the Yankees right now look like world beaters. But the Yankees and the Mets, no question, the two best teams in baseball right now.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Aaron Judge up there is knocking the cover off the baseball. He's on pace to hit close to 60 home runs. He may actually break the home run record, which I would actually give him the home run king record, the regular season home run king record, if he did that this year. If he beats, we'll say 70. The Mark McGwire mark. We won't count the other one. Nah, I'm just playing. We know the marks Barry Bonds set the mark high, but Aaron Judge is knocking the cover off the baseball. Garrett Cole's spinning it again like he did before the spider tack incident, as we all know about. So you're right there. I think the chances are pretty high we could see a Subway Series, New York versus New York this year. Look. Got to talk about Sam Litica. He said the NL East race was over. Well, since then, the Braves have turned it around. They've gained 5.5 games on the New York Mets and won, as of this moment, 13 straight in a row. Is the NL East race over? Fred, I'll ask you that question.
Absolutely not. And, you know, any Met fan will tell you that the Mets have had some historic collapses the last, 15 years. I go back to, 2006, 2007. They collapsed twice in a row, 7-game leads in September. So, yeah, listen, the Braves have always had the Mets number. And, I think this year is a little different. I think the Mets are a better team than they've been in the past. I think they're well managed by Buck Showalter. But you always fear the Braves. The Braves, great lineup, great young lineup. You got Max Fried, and I love Anderson. I love their starting pitching, good bullpen. And never count the Braves out. This race is far from over.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I thought it was crazy that he said it as early as he did in early June. I don't care what lead you have, as long as it's not high teens, like 18, 19, I think you're pretty much still in it. A good, like the Braves, right now, 13, 14-game winning streak. gets you right back into things, and that's what baseball is all about. It's up, ebbs and
Absolutely.
flows, ups and downs.
Absolutely.
So
You'll
we'll
notice
talk,
that I'm
go
You'll
ahead.
notice that I'm in a stadium, a soccer stadium in Hartford, Connecticut. So the crowd's going a little nuts here.
Yeah.
That's
But
totally,
you're absolutely, but you're absolutely right. Yeah, this race is far from over. The Braves are great. They're a deep team. They got a great lineup. And I know this race is going to go down to the wire. Nothing is over till it's over, as Yogi Berra would say.
yeah, it's not over till the fat lady sings as well. I love Yogi Berra. He's a baseballism in himself. DeGrom should be back mid-July, it looks like. And as you mentioned, if DeGrom and Scherzer are back, there's no telling how close this race will actually get because it's going to get extremely close. And I think it will be, by the end of the season, the closest division in baseball in terms of 1 and 2 in the division. Let's talk about top prospect in the Mets organization, catcher, 20-year-old. I got to catch myself. 20-year-old Francisco Alvarez. He's on a tear in Double-A Binghamton. I think he got 9 home runs or something like that, and just a couple at bats at that level. The Braves brought up Double-A prospect and Michael Harris, the second outfielder, and he's done nothing but hit the ball extremely well. 317 batting average going into Wednesday, 20 hits and 63 at bats, and he hit 2 home runs in back-to-back nights. Do you think the Mets will call up Alvarez straight from Double-A like the Braves did with Harris?
It's a definite possibility. I've had the pleasure of watching Alvarez in person in 2 series here in Hartford against the Hartford Yard Goats, the Colorado Rockies farm team. And every time I've seen Alvarez in these 2 series, he has just torn the cover off the ball. There's a little question about his ability as a catcher defensively, but there's no question he's a major league hitter. And, I mean, he hits everything hard. Line drives everywhere. Even his outs are hard. So I think there's a definite possibility that he could be called up. McCann's been hurt. Brian McCann, former Atlanta Brave. James. I got my McCanns mixed up. The McCann from the White Sox, who has been hurt for most of the season with a bone fracture. So I think there's a very good chance that Alvarez is going to be called up at some point because the Mets, their 1 weak link has been behind the plate. So I think it's a real possibility. I don't like rushing kids, the talent of Francisco Alvarez, but I think it's a remote possibility.
Folks, you're listening to Fred Gerteiny right here on ATL Prime Sports. You can find Fred on Twitter at Fred, Gerteny. That's Fred Gerteiny on Twitter, sports producer for WTNH 8. Let's bring it back. Let's switch topics here from baseball. The U.S. Open's this weekend, one of golf's biggest majors, and there's a big black cloud over it with this LIV golf tournament. Who's playing, who's not, PGA versus LIV right now. What are your thoughts on who might take the trophy this weekend, the U.S. Open trophy? And what are your thoughts on the new LIV Golf League?
Well, this whole LIV Golf League is all about money. They always say follow the money. These guys will abandon the PGA in a heartbeat if it means more money, more endorsements. So it's the first time that the PGA has ever had a real challenge to its authority here, and I think they got a real problem here. I like McIlroy to win this week. That's my guess. That's my bet. If I were putting money down, but yeah, this LIV tournament is going to be a real problem for the PGA, and it's going to put the PGA in a position where they're going to have to up the ante with some of these great players on the PGA because they're going to start dropping like flies if there's an opportunity to make more green.
Yeah, you're right about that. And let's take the politics out of it. If you were to offer me $125 million, Fred, it'd be hard pressed for me not to take that money. They offered Dustin Johnson that money. They offered Phil $200 million, and we saw the reports they offered Tiger $1 billion. That's a B. Unbelievable money. Dustin Johnson said it best. The reason he signed up for Live, Fred, to play less golf. You got to play year round on the PGA Tour, and you got to play 16, 18, 25 events to really make your purse, your money for the year. So this 8 rounds, plus you get to play in the majors, that's, let's say, 12, 13 rounds of golf year round, and you're making that much money. Yeah, I think the PGA better listen up. So you're right about that, and I love your pick on Rory. Rory's playing hot right now. He won the RBC last weekend. Lots of momentum going into this weekend. He's had a lot of good top finishes. We saw how well he finished in Augusta back in April. Had that great hole out on 18 from the bunker. So, yeah, no, I really love your point, Rory McIlroy, and I love your point on Live Golf. My final question on the evening, it is the NBA Finals. The Warriors lead the NBA Finals right now 3-2. Very interesting to me, Fred. Every game has been decided by 10-plus points to this point. What are your thoughts on the NBA Finals, and do the Warriors close it out Thursday night?
Well, I think the Warriors are going to close it out. That's my feeling. I picked them in 6 at the beginning of the series. I love Steph Curry. I'm a huge Steph Curry fan, just like all the kids with their Steph Curry jerseys. I think Tatum is a legitimate star. I love watching him play. I think he's the next really big thing in the NBA. He's really coming into his own. I love the way they're coached. I mean, Udoka is a tremendous coach out of that Greg Popovich coaching tree. And it wouldn't shock me if the Celtics win Game 6 here in Boston and send it back to Golden State, San Francisco for a Game 7, which would be great as a fan, as a basketball fan to watch. But I really feel like the Warriors are on the cusp here of winning another title. And I'd love to see a Game 7 because I'm a basketball fan. But I think Steph Curry and the Warriors are going to take it in Game 6. They're going to find a way to win one at Boston Garden.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think the Warriors pull the upset tonight, or excuse me, Thursday night against the C's. The C's are going to be here for a while, folks. The front office, the coaches you mentioned, Popovich coaching tree. The C's are going to be here for a while, Celtics fans. So pucker up and expect the Celtics to be Eastern Conference finalists for years to come. They're young and they're hungry. I love what you said about Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, who actually hasn't had that great of a series. I feel like Draymond uses the energy on the road to step up, have a big game, maybe double-digit assists, double-digit rebounds, maybe a triple-double from Draymond, and that gets the job done, and I think they hoist that Larry O'Brien Thursday night. I think they close it out, but I'm with you. Wouldn't surprise me if the C's take it back west, make it Game 7, the best 2 words in sports. Fred, that wraps it up for the interview, man. Tell our listeners how they can find excuse me, I got one more question. I jumped the gun. Let me talk about the Stanley Cup Finals. They face off tonight, Wednesday night. Since the Rangers went down to the Tampa Bay Lightning, who you got for the Cup, the Avs or the Lightning? Does it strike 3 times?
Well, as a lifelong New York Ranger fan, I'm still heartbroken that the Tampa Bay Lightning knocked us out in the Eastern Conference Finals. I'd like to pick the Avalanche because I'd like to see the Lightning go down and not become a dynasty with 3 straight. But yeah. I just have a feeling the Lightning are just too good, too experienced, and they're going to end up winning their 3rd straight cup here. And I'd love to pick the Avalanche. I like the Avalanche, but I'm gonna go with the Lightning, the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think they're going to make it a 3-peat as the Stanley Cup champs.
Yeah, it's crazy. A 3-peat rarely happens. The last time I can remember a 3-peat in sports, I think the Lakers did it. The Yankees did it. So it's a rare feat. I think they have a good shot, but I'm going with the West Coast team. I'm going with the Colorado Avs. I lived in Colorado for a couple seasons. They really love their Avalanche hockey out there. That's the only reason I got. Well, Fred, that does wrap up the interview this time, I promise. Please give our listeners your Twitter and how they can find you on social media and how they can watch your sports productions.
They can find me at Fred Gerteiny at Twitter. I'm tweeting all the time. I'm a mad tweeter. And WTNH TV, the ABC affiliate in New Haven, Connecticut. We are the number one station in the Hartford, New Haven market. And I think the best sports team with John Pearson, Eric Dobratz, myself, and Bobby Rumbold. So, you have to be in the Hartford, New Haven area to see us, but you can probably go to WTNH.com and watch us, no matter where you are in the country, all you folks down in Atlanta and over across the country. But, that's where you'll find us. And once again, it's such a pleasure to be with you guys. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, the pleasure's ours. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy day to come to ATL Prime Sports and chat with us. Have a great rest of your week. And again, Fred, thanks so much for all you do.
All right, fellas. Thanks so much. Talk to you again.
Take care. That's Fred Gerteiny at Fred Gerteiny on Twitter. WTNH up there in the Northeast, ABC affiliate. Thanks, Fred, so much. Guys, that wraps up this interview. What a great interview. Wayne, what did you take from that interview, man? What stood out to you? Something that Fred said. To me, I like the Subway Series chances, Wayne. I do. I think the two teams in New York are tearing the cover off the ball. I'm going to stick with my Braves pick to win the division, but it's going to be tough. If DeGrom and Scherzer are healthy, they're two of the best in the game, Wayne.
Yeah, well, I agree with you there, but it's easier for me as a Texas fan to like the Mets more so than to like the Yankees because I've just always been irritated by the Yankees. So if the Mets are able to take that division and be in the World Series, that's all right with me.
Believe me, I want the World Series to be Braves and Yankees so bad, just so I can get the 6 straight World Series games the Yankees have beaten the Braves in off my chest.
Yeah.
We'll say it that like. Speaking of the Braves, let's go to the Braves. Let's talk about their 13-game winning streak. Let's talk MLB teams, hot or not. And it's so hot, you have to start out with the Braves here. They're the hottest team in baseball. They're winning despite 2 injuries to 2 key players right now. Second baseman Ozzie Albies went down. In an awkward play coming out of the batter's box, made contact with the baseball, went down. Luckily, he didn't tear any ligaments in that left foot, just a fracture. And obviously, outfielder Eddie Rosario is getting closer and closer to coming back. But despite those 2 players being down, Michael Harris, who I mentioned earlier with Fred, playing extremely well. And in comes Orlando Arcia, who's had a pretty good season and minimal at-bats thus far. Started 10-4. I mean, look. Don't look now, but Orlando Arcia has already got an RBI in Wednesday night's game. That's first pitch has already happened. So he comes in, he hits, let me check my notes here. He's hitting, 327, 10 RBIs, 2 home runs with limited ABs this year. So Arcia is a very capable replacement, folks. Don't worry about Ozzie's injury because, trust me, Arcia is very capable. They called up Phil Gosselin from AAA organization who's been in and out of Major League Baseball for several years. Got a veteran there. Maybe Alex Anthopoulos will make a move. He did last year. Marcell Ozuna's suspension keyed the first move. Maybe this injury keys the first move for Alex Anthopoulos this season. We're about 60 days away from the trade deadline, which is a little after August 1st. So we'll see what AA does this year, but I think Orlando Arcia is going to be just a perfect fit for the Atlanta Braves this year. He's got major league experience with the Brew Crew, postseason experience last year a little bit with the Braves, had about 3 or 4 at-bats in that postseason run. So I think Arcia would be just fine. Braves are hot despite 2 huge injuries. Don't worry, Braves fans, you'll be just fine. Wayne, give me another team that's kind of trending up or trending down, if you want to say, whichever way you want to go with it. Are you going with hot or are you going with not?
Well, I tell you, one team that's really not right now, and I guess it showed today, was Detroit. I don't know what happened to them, but the White Sox really had their number today.
Yeah, they did. I think they lost, what, 13-0?
Something like that.
Whew, that was bad. We saw Roger Clemens' son come in and pitch
Yeah.
like father, like son. Oh, wait, he's an infielder.
Yeah. Well,
So that was fun. TC hates it when infielders or position players pitch in general. I love it. I think it's part of the gimmick of the game, especially in a blowout situation. Some other teams, man, the Yankees are 9-1 in their last 10 games. They're on a 5-game win streak. Minnesota Twins are atop the division in the Central. Houston Astros are 9.5 on top of your Rangers. But no one's as hot as the Braves right now. I mean,
no.
13-game winning streak. I think that's the longest in Major League Baseball this season. Someone who's not hot, mentioned it last week, the Angels. Now the story's coming out. Manager Joe Madden gets a mohawk, and the players never see it. Did you hear about that, Wayne?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so manager Madden goes and gets a mohawk to try and motivate the team, kind of laugh off the 12 losses to get them back in their winning ways. They didn't get to see it. He got fired that day. So how would you feel if you get a mohawk to pump up your team and you get the can?
Well, I think a stunt like that is the wrong way to go in that situation, and it reminds me of the scene from the Moneyball movie where the Billy Bean comes in and sees all the players, partying and having fun after they lost a game, and he, tears their radio up and throws something across the room, and he says, "Do you like losing?" And that's, to me, it's a much more serious thing, and to do something goofy like that, I'm not surprised he was let go.
Yeah, it's an old school mentality versus new school. Look, the Braves had a different variation of that. Brian Snicker came into the room after losing 2 games in Arizona and says, "Hey, we're not playing World Championship baseball. We need to step it up." They haven't lost since that talk. So I think it kind of goes to show you what works, what doesn't nowadays. Mohawk, maybe it did work, but we will never know because he got fired shortly afterwards. Your division leaders all around baseball: the Dodgers lead the NL West, Cardinals lead the NL Central. Obviously, your Mets are 5 games on top of the Braves in the NL East. Astros, Twins, and Yankees are your division winners in the American League. Wild card's getting closer and closer, but you don't want to worry about that yet. You just want to worry about getting close to your division as possible, winning those division games. Wayne, that wraps up the topics. You got any final thoughts on our Major League Baseball hot or not topic?
Well, I kind of wish Houston would go on a little bit of a slide, maybe lose some of their momentum, because I would like for Texas to surprise everybody and win that division.
That would be great, pleasant surprise. They spent a lot of money in the offseason, as I've mentioned before, on Seager and I can't think of the other gentleman's name, player's name. They spent a lot of money on the offseason. They expect to do a lot better. Let's move into our final thought of the evening. Look, I'm talking about Live Golf because it was very interesting to me. I was watching last weekend on Facebook Live, absolutely free as long as you have a Facebook account. I enjoyed the team format and the shotgun start. I did.
Yeah.
The new Live Golf tournaments makes it more fun for the fans. It does. Folks, you're not waiting until 2:30, 3 o'clock for your favorite golfer to tee off, and then 4 or 5 hours later. Everybody's done in the matter of 4.5, 5 hours. It's very much like a baseball game or a football game where you tune in at one time and everybody's done at the same time, relatively. So I think that's cool. Also, the team format is undeniably cool. If you're having a bad tournament, there's no missed cuts. So you still have to play better for not only yourself, but your team aspect, because you get more money if your team finishes higher and higher. So I think it's cool. No more waiting around for your guy to tee off. No more watching your guy have such a bad weekend. He just kind of is having fun out there, just trying to save par, save par, save par. No, these guys are going to keep taking risks, try and take off that lead in the team leaderboard and get that more money in the team purse. So my final thought is just that Live Golf Tournament, PGA, watch out.
Yeah, well, now I hope this doesn't disappoint a lot of listeners, viewers, or even you, but really the only golf that I've been keeping up with, it's been the TV show Holy Moly, and that's because it's fun, it's interesting, and uh, a lot of people end up in the pool or water or mud or whatever it is, and so
Does
maybe they
Rob
should
Riggle
introduce
still
something like
host that show?
yeah, Rob Riggle and I forget that sportscaster from ESPN.
Tessitore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Both
they,
of those
they
guys,
do a good
and
job.
they do, they do.
It's a
But I
fun
think
show. It's very entertaining. Some miniature golf mixed with a wipeout type
yeah,
show where everybody falls and stuff. So it's really entertaining, really lighthearted.
yeah.
That wraps up our show this evening. For Wayne in Memphis, I'm JJ here in East Atlanta. If you like the content, please give us a like, give us a subscribe, search ATL Prime Sports on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. You can find us all at ATL Prime Sports. For Wayne, I'm JJ. Get you one, folks.